Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're new here. My name is Bram. I talk about all things fashion, luxury, lifestyle, shopping, and travel. So if those are things that are interesting to you, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and become a member of my growing YouTube family. Also hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I upload videos, which is typically Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And last but not least, I'm going to put my Instagram handle right over here just in case you are not following me over there yet and you would like to. Okay, so let's begin. Today, we are talking about all of the luxury items that I no longer buy. Now, it's not specific things. This is just like categories of things. So I don't remember, a lot of times I get my inspiration from like other YouTubers and I see what they post. And I honestly don't remember who did this video, but I've had it like written down in my little notes for quite a little while now. And so I wanted to finally do it. It's definitely categories of things, and they all have like little caveats. So we'll go through them, and yeah, we'll go through that. And I'd like to know also like your guys' thoughts on this. Is there anything specifically like lately? I know that, I feel like there's definitely, we've talked about this before on this channel, there's definitely been some sort of change in the space where we went from complete overconsumption, and I hate these words, but I'm going to use them because I think that it's the best way to explain the feeling. But we went from complete overconsumption in like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, even 22. And I feel like over the last like year or so, I don't know, 23 was kind of like, I think for me, it was definitely, I was purchasing less and I was focused less on things. But I don't know if that was like the sentiment in general, but I had like a lot going on in life in general. And so things changed like priority wise for me in about 23. I feel like 23, 24, 25 has definitely been more of a, I think about my purchases more, and everything is a little bit more like thought out and thoughtful, and I sit on things for longer. And I think that that is probably the majority of when we're on luxury YouTube, when we're on YouTube in general, when we're watching things on Instagram, like our feed, obviously, like we're shown the things that we want to see. And so you can find yourself in this little bubble, in this little world where, you are very much in sync, I think, with everything that's going on around you, and whether it is like fully thought out or it's more just like, you're just kind of feeling the feelings, like one way or another. It is like we do kind of mirror what we see to a certain extent. And that's honestly, it's how trends work. It's how trends have always worked. The people at the top of the trend decision maker ladder, whoever that is, whether it's like the editors of Vogue or just whoever makes these decisions, they make the decisions and it trickles down to the masses. And that's how it's always been. It's just faster now because obviously we have access to it via all of these like electronic methods now. And previously it was just like you would buy a magazine and that's how you would see, or Street Style or whatever, and that's how you would see what was like trending and what was in. However, obviously, we all consume this stuff probably on a daily basis. And so little by little, when you see everybody kind of around you in this space talking more about thinking about your purchases and not purchasing this and not purchasing that and underconsumption, overconsumption, blah, 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 it starts to kind of seep into your subconscious to a certain extent, and you also feel those same vibes, right? And so while I am definitely not on the underconsumption train the way that a lot of other YouTubers and Instagram people in general, like just influencers have kind of come out and said they're selling everything, blah, 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 blah. I'm definitely not on that train. But I do find that at least for the last I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I would say 2 full years, I've definitely been more on kind of in a space where I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of, whether it's just not excited about the current collections in general, because I feel like I haven't been excited for quite a while about current collections. It's also just a space where I'm thinking more about what I really want, what I want to purchase for the long term versus like the person that I was, where I was just kind of purchasing for now because of like FOMO and everything else, and just like this hype that surrounded, I think, like the luxury handbags and, you know, just the luxury space in general from about 16 to about 22, you know, and not thinking long term and like, okay, is this something that, you know, and because in those years I would sell things to purchase new things a lot, and looking back, I should have never sold to purchase new things because I don't even have the new things anymore. Like a lot of the new things I've sold because it just wasn't my thing. And so I got rid of these classic, amazing pieces to then fund new things that were just like, once I finally got them, it was like, yeah, it was like on to the next thing, you know, and there wasn't any real interest or like love beyond just getting the thing. And I don't like to do fashion like that. Like I really love handbags. I do. I've loved them since 99, 2000, even before that, because even like in high school, I had my DKNY, my Polo Sport bags, Iceberg. Like I always was into bags. I was always into like designer, or what we thought of as designer back then. I always was into that. And obviously on a bigger level, you know, in the early 2000s and just up until now, and I don't see it stopping at any time. And I love fashion in general, and I don't like to treat fashion like it is just something that I need to obtain and own and then sell because I'm not wearing it. I don't want it to be something where it's all about the shopping for the item versus the owning and enjoying of the item. And so I find myself in a different place. All of that to say, I find myself in a different place now where I am definitely more thoughtful about my purchases, and I am definitely more into focusing on what I think is going to be something that is going to be a forever piece in my collection versus, you know, just something that I would like to grab so that I have it before everybody else does, or while everybody else does, or whatever. My mindset has definitely shifted to wanting to have the things that nobody else does versus the things that everybody else does. And it was always like that until I think like this, like I said, like this little luxury bubble from like 16 to 22, where I can absolutely unequivocally say that I was 100% influenced to purchase many things that I no longer have, because it was all because my screen was telling me that this is what everybody had and this is what I needed also. And I fell for it, and hook, line, and sinker. And, you know, anyway, you live and you learn, right? So I am back to a point where I would rather have the things that are special to me and that I don't see coming and going and all of that stuff. So that was all a preface to go into my list for you guys and kind of tell you where my head is at in terms of shopping and just in terms of like acquiring things. So number one, I would say these are the things, the luxury items that I no longer will purchase, okay? And obviously never say never. I never say never because I change my mind. We're all human. We all do. But if how I feel now stays the same, I can say that I don't have any plans to purchase any of this stuff ever again. At least full price from the store, for sure. At least that. Okay. So number one, I would say would be shoes. I have a humongous luxury shoe collection, and it is honestly quite ridiculous. I have been selling a bunch lately. That's why I haven't done like a full video on the items, like my shoe collection. And I might at some point, once kind of the dust has settled in terms of what I'm keeping and selling. But I've sold many things in the past few months, I would say. I have sold a whole bunch of shoes that I just don't wear, that just don't make sense for me. I don't work in an office anymore. I don't have, any type of places to go that I would wear these things. So it just doesn't make any sense. And so I would say shoes for sure. I'm not saying never, but I am saying for the moment, I am totally off buying designer shoes, 100%. I don't think it's worth it. I think that they can be very beautiful. So it would have to be, like I said, I think that there's a caveat to this, because sometimes there are some amazing shoes that come out specifically from Chanel. I will say specifically from Chanel is usually the one that'll get me to like, oh, I need that. For pretty much the rest of the houses, I'm totally not, I don't care. But every once in a while, Chanel comes out with an absolute like killer, and I'm just like, I need to have it. So I will put that in there, that you never know what comes out. But at the moment, I'm just not into it. I think that I just don't wear them enough for it to be worth all of that money. Now, they do last. I have had many of my designer shoes for many, many years at this point, and they still look, new and beautiful. And it's probably because I don't wear them enough. That's why they look new and beautiful. But they lose their, the minute that you wear them out, it's like a car. It like literally drops in value the minute you drive it off the lot. The minute you wear those shoes one time, it just, it doesn't hold its value. You can resell it, sure. You can resell anything, but you're taking a huge loss, especially if you haven't worn them enough for it to have warranted the price that you paid. And they're just shoes. And quite honestly, I have been very into, like lately, looking at more like mid-range. Tory Burch has some really like cool shoes that she's come out with. But I'm here in hot Miami, and I wear flip-flops and Crocs like 90% of the time. So I don't even know, like, I have enough designer sandals to last me for another 20 years probably, and I still won't have probably worn them into the ground and like use them up enough for them to have been worth it. So totally off my list. Okay, number 2, I would say makeup for sure. I don't wear makeup anymore for the most part. I'm way more into skincare than I am into makeup at this point. It's really hot here, and the minute that I put something on my face, I'm sweating it off, and so I'm not into it. It used to be something where I would purchase, like I liked Gucci makeup for a while, Dior makeup, just like anything that I was fed through the phone, through the TV. I was, as much as I'm not into makeup, I do watch makeup YouTube actually, and I would see how people would do them, do themselves up, and I would look at their products and I would purchase those products. And then I have never been good at makeup. I've literally had, I wear the same things. Well, again, I don't really wear makeup anymore, but up until about 2020, I was wearing the same makeup that I wore in high school. So I've never changed that. I literally could get away with like a Clinique powder and some bronzer and some blush, and that was it. I never did anything for my eyes. I don't have good eyesight, so it's always been really hard for me to do my eyes in general, thus wearing my lashes, which I think honestly make it so that I don't really need to wear makeup because my lashes are always done. And so I always feel put together because the lashes are done. And so it takes away that stress of having to do my eyes when I literally can't see well enough to do my eyes. And yeah, I mean, even like lipstick, I'm into, like, the most I buy now is, and I won't even buy, like, I started with the Dior lip oils, and now I use e.l.f. and I use this Miffy one that I have linked below that I absolutely love. And that's it. Like, that's literally all I have in my bag. I don't carry a makeup case anymore. I don't want to sweat it off, and it's uncomfortable for me. I feel like my skin can't breathe, and so I have drawers of makeup that I literally haven't put on my face. The last time I wore makeup actually was probably November. I wore it out, and I don't know if it's like my age or how you guys feel. If you're in your 40s too, I just feel like my skin can't not only my skin can't breathe, but I feel like I look older with makeup on than I do without makeup on. So that's my 2 cents on it. Even if I was to wear makeup again, if like someone came and taught me how to wear it and I felt like it was worth it, I wouldn't purchase designer makeup anymore. I just don't think it's worth it. I think there's a lot of brands that have come out that have it just makes more sense, in my opinion. It's something that you're literally putting on your face. And I know that there's a lot of like makeup devotees out there who swear by certain things, and like I am not someone who can attest to any of this stuff because I don't really wear it very often. But in my opinion, especially for me, as somebody who most of my makeup has probably gone bad sitting in my drawers at this point, I feel like it just makes more sense for me to buy cheap makeup, use it when I need to, and that's it. Especially because I'm putting it on and I'm washing it off. So I'd rather spend that money, put it towards bags, put it towards clothes, put it towards other things in life that I'd rather have, put it towards my eyelashes. Like, that's how I justify all the things that I do, like the eyelashes, my nails, and honestly, like Botox every 6 months or so. Like, that's how I justify that, because I'm like, if I do these things, I don't need makeup. That's how I feel. I feel put together. I feel like I don't need it, and that makes the money like I don't need it because I'm not spending money on makeup anyway. So that's all. Next, I would say costume jewelry. So I will be the first to say that I never know with Chanel. Again, Chanel is my wild card. I am totally put off by like bags and things being purchased directly from the store because of their price increases. But their jewelry, and honestly a lot of their vintage jewelry, things like that, the caveat is that I will purchase these things secondhand if I can get a good deal, 100%. But new in store, I used to have a lot of like Louis Vuitton jewelry. I used to have a lot of Dior jewelry. I won't do it anymore. I had a million of those, like the tribal earrings. I won't do it anymore. They're not worth it. You get nothing back if you want to sell them, because I've sold all of it at this point, and because I didn't really wear it. And yeah, the only things that I would say still bring me happiness, I have kept or held on to a few pieces of Chanel jewelry that I have accumulated over the past like 20 years or so, maybe a little bit more. And those are the pieces that I still wear, I still love. Those are the pieces that I feel like are worth it. I wouldn't rule out any, if they come out with something incredible in terms of like costume jewelry in the future, and I'm sure that they will at some point, I won't rule out buying a pair of earrings or a necklace or whatever. And I absolutely won't rule out, I have a list of Chanel vintage jewelry items that I am looking for at good prices, especially from like the 95 Barbie Chanel show. Like, there's quite a few pieces like that I think of as archival pieces that I would add. But as for like new costume jewelry from store, mostly Dior, Louis Vuitton, Fendi. I had some Fendi earrings that were like totally worthless. Those things, I'm not into it anymore. I just wouldn't do it. I do think that they're still nice, but I don't feel like I wear them enough for it to be worth it. And I think a lot of people have the same thoughts on costume jewelry. It's just like, it's not gold. It's not real, it's not real anything. You're just kind of buying the name. And I believe that, but I do believe that Chanel fashion jewelry tends to hold its value a little bit versus the other brands. The other brands are an absolute no for me at this point. Okay, next one. I have 2 more for you guys. Okay. Number 4, I would say that I am completely done with buying brands that don't hold their value, brand new. So again, the caveat is that secondhand, there's a lot of things that I'm willing to purchase secondhand at the right price. So for example, I would never buy a new Balenciaga bag. I would not buy a new Balenciaga bag straight from the store. I am a little tempted with I don't know if anybody saw it, I'll put it up here. It is the ice cream bag. I kind of like it. I admit it, I kind of like it. However, I would buy it secondhand when it hits the market, the secondhand market, for probably $1,000 less than it was in store. I would purchase secondhand. I'm actually looking for like a city bag, some sort of, I think the city bag, some sort of motorcycle bag from Balenciaga, pre this guy, early 2000s, 2010s, whatever. I'm definitely looking for something, but I would never spend that money in store. Same with, honestly, most brands at this point. I don't think any of them hold their value. I don't think it's worth it for the most part. I really am kind of put off buying new designer, period. It's been a while since I walked into a store. And I do have a shopping vlog coming out where we are going into all the stores. So there is one coming, and it is the first time that I've been back in a store in quite a long time. But previous to that, literally, it has been probably over a year since I've walked into most stores. And I don't even care, because I'm just not shelling out those prices anymore. Like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, nobody's really off the list, honestly. I am willing to do most anything secondhand, but direct from store, just not anymore. No, not really. It has to be super, super special for me to even consider purchasing directly from store at this point. I'm just so completely over it, honestly. Okay, last but not least, and this is in line with, what I just said. I would say really anything Chanel classic. From store, secondhand as well. For the most part, secondhand, while cheaper than in store for the most part, still quite expensive and not worth it in my opinion. I would say that with Chanel, I am focused only on seasonal types of bags, or their special. I really like the 25, and I'm actually kind of thinking about grabbing one in one of those ice cream colors, because I love a pastel, either the green or the blue. Maybe we'll have an unboxing. I'm not sure, but I 100% won't be buying it directly. Oh, I can't even say that. I probably won't be buying it directly from store. I probably will be going another route. I probably will never purchase a classic in store again. I just don't see the point. And I also probably will never purchase a classic secondhand, because until the prices come down, because I just don't see it as being a good deal. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Even on the secondhand market, you have a lot of these bags for $8,000, $9,000. And while that's better than the $10,000 or the $12,000 that they want for the medium or the jumbo or the maxi or whatever, it's in absolute insanity. Absolutely. I can never say never on the secondhand market, because obviously the prices are not set in stone. They do fluctuate. They do change. It depends on who's selling it. It depends on where it's coming from. The Real World tends to have better prices than Fashion File or Rebag. You never know what you're going to find. And so I do stalk the secondhand market quite regularly, because you never know what you're going to find. And sometimes amazing things pop up that you have to, pull the trigger on. But for the most part, if things stay as they are, I 100% will not be purchasing anything classic ever again. And that's fine with me. I'm not really a classics girl, so it's okay. But yeah, I think that I've been priced out of that market, honestly, and I just am not interested. Even if I was comfortable spending that much money in one shot to this, at this point, because I have been in the past. Am I still there mentally? Honestly, no. I'm not. I don't see it as an important purchase to make for all of that money. Now, can things change? Of course. You never know. And that's why I say you never know what happens. I never say never, because things do change, and opinions change, and the world changes, and my situation could very well change. You never know. The things that I can afford now versus the things that I can afford in 5 years, who knows what that will be. The world is constantly changing, and we know that. So I couldn't say for sure. But for the moment, if things were to remain the same as they are at this very moment, all of these things on my list would be an absolute no for me. I'm done with those things, and I just don't see the benefit in spending all of that good money on those things when I could put it towards way better things, in my opinion, or things that I want more and be happier. So that's all. Anyway, that's it, guys. That is it for my talk today. I would love to know if there are certain luxury things that you have spent money in the past that you no longer are interested in spending your money on, that you no longer think is worth it. Are there, do you still purchase designer makeup, designer skincare? Do you still purchase designer shoes? Like, where are you at with all of this stuff? Do you find that the things that you enjoyed or spent money on, a few years ago is still something that you are willing to spend all that money on now? With the world having changed, with I think everybody's thoughts on luxury having changed, because luxury has changed how, they've changed a lot in the past few years. And I think we're all kind of a little bit over it. And so for me, I'm just looking at alternatives, because I know that I will never be done with luxury. I know that, a lot of people come on here and they are done and they're like, I'm never buying it again. I'm over it. I've moved on. This is a whole nother conversation that we could have another day, because I'm sure at some point I would love to talk about it. But, a lot of people coming on here saying that, they have grown and they have, they are onto more important things. They have outgrown this part of their life and blah, 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 blah. And all the bullshit words that they use, in my opinion, to explain never loving fashion in the first place and only buying it to keep up with the Joneses. But that's just my opinion. And so, that's not me. I know that I will never be done buying luxury, and I know that I will never be done enjoying fashion in general. I'm sure I am going to be, that 90-year-old lady wearing like crazy colors and all of that stuff. And I'm excited for that. It can definitely slow down because life is going too fast, but I will be there one day. And I feel like, I have just kind of sort of in the last 2 years or so been looking for alternatives to purchasing the way that I used to purchase, which was directly from store. And so, don't get me wrong, I have been a purchaser on Fashion File and eBay and The RealReal and all of these places for many, many years, but the majority of my items always came from the store. And I had my SAs and I had relationships with them and all that stuff. And I'm just not into it anymore. I'm not interested in most new things. And so I have sort of been deciding what I need and what I don't need so that I can continue to accumulate the things that I want to add into my collection that are meaningful to me, but in a way that is sustainable for me in the long run. And that has honestly been like vintage shopping and things like that, which I'm way more interested in now. And I actually, quite honestly, find more fun and more of like a thrill when you actually find something really great at a decent price. It feels like treasure hunting to a certain extent, and so I am enjoying it more than I enjoyed, I think, buying directly from store at full price. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I have to say. So I would love to know your opinions. And if you have made it this far, I truly appreciate you. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. What are you waiting for? We have fun over here. Hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I upload videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I'm going to leave my Instagram handle here one more time just in case you are not following me over there. Come and follow me. Again, what are you waiting for? And that's all. So if you are interested, I'm like, what else do I have to say? I know what I have to say. Okay, last but not least, what I have to say is if you are interested and you want to keep watching, I am going to leave another video right over here. And in case you haven't seen it. So, yeah. So watch it. Keep going, guys. All right. Thanks again. And I will see you guys next one. Bye. That was a messed up goodbye. I'll see you later. Bye.